Tomorrow evening, exactly 24 hours from now, Checkpoint will begin with an interview with the new leader of the National Party. There are 5 candidates in alphabetical order. They are Amy Adams, Simon Bridges, Judith Collins, Stephen Joyce and Mark Mitchell. And at a caucus meeting tomorrow morning, one of them will be selected to replace Bill English. Bridges and Adams are the favourites, we think in that order, but it is close. There are 56 national MPs, the largest opposition party caucus New Zealand has ever seen. That means whoever's elected tomorrow has to unite caucus, control caucus, engage with the country, campaign towards the 2020 election and work to build relationships with prospective coalition partners, if there are any. Remember, the total number of non-national MPs on the opposition benches is 1. National needs friends or a leader that can win without them. And all of that must be achieved with 4 unsuccessful candidates for leadership watching you closely from behind. That's not easy. Just ask the politicians who've tried.
I personally think for this particular moment in time, opposition leader, the best choice would be Judith Collins.
Dr. Don Brash, who led National from 2003 to 2006 and found himself, like Bill English last year, not becoming Prime Minister because Winston Peters went with Labour. In the aftermath of the 2005 election, National and Labour were effectively tied.
Helen and I both had 57 people supporting us to be Prime Minister, and Winston Peters once again decided which of the two would be Prime Minister.
2005, 2017, the last 2 elections National have lost, they didn't have New Zealand First support. In 1996, they did, and they won.
I've been looking and waiting for somebody to say that I'm really committed to MMP. It's important now.
Heather Roy, former ACT MP who worked so well with National she became a minister under John Key. And if the Nats have learned anything from doing so well on election night but not becoming government, surely near the top of the list is the requirement to make coalition building work. Where, Heather Roy wonders, has been the leadership candidate saying,
I've got a really good understanding of how MMP works and I'm committed to building relationships so that we can get across the line in 2020. But no one's been saying that, and that prompted me to actually write about it yesterday.
Heather Roy's blog is a reminder to National's leadership candidates. There has not been a single government elected since MMP was first used in 1996 that got there on their own.
It seems to me that the most important thing for the new leader is that they are understanding of MMP and are prepared to embrace it. That's the thing that's going to move them forward.
But, and this is a big but, does whoever wins tomorrow have any chance of doing a deal with Winston Peters? I asked Dr. Wayne Mapp, former Cabinet Minister and National MP for 15 years, under Bolger, who did do that deal with Peters, and Shipley, and English, and Key.
The one thing I would say is I think pretty much all of them will be thinking Winston Peters won't be going with us in 2020.
Indeed, when Wayne Mapp goes through National's MMP cupboard, it's currently bare.
New Zealand First is not going to go with National. The Greens are not going to go with National. ACT is there, but it's a shadow of its former self. They would need to actually build a bit.
And so while Heather Roy says National's new leader has to be a coalition builder, Wayne Mapp thinks National's caucus may vote for the candidate most capable of going it alone.
They're going to be looking at who's best positioned to fight a straight two-way battle. Because that's what it's going to be. The coalition issues don't actually matter that much because that's not an issue for 2020. Put it another way, if New Zealand First does get back in 2020, National is not the government. Simple as that.
And if it is that simple, and remember Winston Peters will be 75 in 2020 and may not want to run again, then whoever wins tomorrow may want to look at what happened the last time a 3-term government lost. And to do that, let's go back a decade. Election night 2008.
Ladies and gentlemen, today New Zealand has spoken. In their hundreds of thousands across the country, they have voted for change. I can tell you there will be a new National-led government in New Zealand.
And as John Key was triumphantly becoming Prime Minister, Helen Clark was standing down.
And I do have one final thing to say, and that is that my job as leader of the Labor Party is complete. I will be standing down, yes, and I will be expecting Labor colleagues to elect a new leader before Christmas.
Christmas followed Christmas, 8 of them in fact, and Helen Clark's replacements came and went. Phil Goff for just over 3 years, David Shearer for just under 2 years, David Cunliffe for just over 1, and Andrew Little for 2 years, 8 months and 14 days. It all ended on August 1st last year.
I've just confirmed to the Labor caucus that I will step aside as leader of the Labor Party.
And later that same day...
Following Andrew's announcement this morning, I was nominated to be leader of the Labor Party. My nomination was unanimously accepted. Calvin Davis was nominated as deputy, and this too was unanimously accepted.
Jacinda Ardern, Labor's 5th leader in opposition after Helen Clark, who, as we know, went on to become Prime Minister. So telling is the process of losing that the first 3, Goff, Shearer and Cunliffe, are no longer in Parliament at all. It may not be related, but David Shearer is now in South Sudan.
I'm Simon Bridges, leader of the National Party.
I'm Amy Adams. I have the privilege of leading the New Zealand National Party.
I'm Judith Collins. I'm the leader of the National Party.
As Checkpoint reported on Friday night, Simon Bridges and Amy Adams are out in front and running, we hear, neck and neck. Judith Collins is a long odds outsider. But Don Brash, who's been there, rates her. If he was back in caucus and voting tomorrow...
I think I'd vote for Judith.
Whoever gets the job, a warning from a man who's had it. It's brutally tough.
Being leader of the opposition is the toughest job in Parliament. You're expected to have an informed opinion on everything the Prime Minister has an opinion on, and you have a small fraction of her resources to back you up. So it's very, very tough. And I think only Judith Collins understands that reality.
Dr. Wayne Mapp, who worked under 4 national leaders and knows exactly the kind of lobbying that's going on, even as we speak probably, says the vote will have its own momentum in the caucus room tomorrow. Promises will have been made, yes, but won't all be kept.
And in my experience, the only vote you can count on is with someone who's basically written in blood that they're going to vote for you. And in this situation, there'll be a lot of people who will be holding their own counsel.
5 candidates, a large caucus, many of them not used to life in opposition. Heather Roy says the coalition building skills she thinks the new leader desperately needs may be required, first of all, internally, after the vote is done.
Leadership campaigns are always fraught, and even when a leader steps down voluntarily, if there's more than one contender, then the inevitable happens. Camps form, alliances build, deals are made, and the person who wins actually has to be able to bring all of those groups back together again without there being lingering resentments once they've been declared the winner.